The role of memory in mass consciousness. Memory is supposed to be one of the most reliable parts of identity. You remember where you were born. You remember your first kiss. You remember what you believed in before the world told you not to. Memory is what makes you you. It's not just a mental archive of data. It's a continuity thread, a narrative tether that connects past to present and informs your sense of who you are and where you've been. But when reality no longer reflects your memories, something deeper is threatened than just factual accuracy. What's threatened is your coherence. This is the psychic pressure point of the Mandela effect. When people say, "I remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison," they're not just misquoting a date or mixing up a name. They're expressing a breach between inner reality and outer record, a clean cut between experience and environment. And the moment that rift appears, the mind begins searching for something to hold on to, something that still makes sense. Psychologists often explain this using the idea of flashbulb memories, highly detailed, emotionally intense memories of significant events. For example, many people remember exactly where they were on 9/11, what they were wearing, who they were with, the sound of the TV in the background. Flashbulb memories are vivid. They feel permanent. But here's the catch. Studies show they're often wrong. Over time, people revise the details, even though their confidence remains high. So when thousands of people confidently remember Mandela's funeral in the 1980s, the mainstream explanation is that they've created a shared false memory, shaped by suggestion, media echoes, and collective storytelling. But this explanation only goes so far. What makes the Mandela memory different from other flashbulb distortions is the consistency. These aren't minor variations in how people recall a car crash. They're major, specific, world-altering events being remembered in the same way by people who've never met, across the globe, over decades. These are not individuals fumbling vague memories. These are people who can describe the texture of the candlelight vigil, the newscaster's tone, the way their teacher paused in class. And that specificity is not just intellectually odd, it's metaphysically alarming. Because it points to a deeper question. Where is memory stored? We're taught that memory lives in the brain, that neurons fire, synapses encode, and that memories are replayed like digital files. But what if memory isn't local? What if memory is part of a shared energetic field? A cloud-like system where emotionally significant experiences are distributed across consciousness itself. Many researchers in parapsychology, quantum biology, and even neuroscience have explored the idea that memory may be non-local, not confined to the biological tissue of the brain, but instead tapping into a larger informational substrate, the Akashic record, the morphogenetic field, the zero-point matrix. In these models, memory is more than electrochemical, it's vibrational. And if so, it may not only persist beyond physical changes, it may actively resist being overwritten. That's why some people remember. Their consciousness retained alignment with the previous energetic imprint, even after the dominant reality shifted. In this sense, the Mandela effect isn't a distortion. It's a retention, a psychic holdout from a version of the world that's been collapsed, merged, or suppressed. Now let's connect this to mass consciousness. In times of high collective emotion, like the supposed death of Nelson Mandela in the 1980s, human beings enter a state of shared resonance. Emotions amplify. Group attention sharpens. Events become seared into the collective body. So when Mandela died, in one timeline or another, millions of people anchored that event into their emotional matrix. And when that timeline was overwritten, those who were most emotionally bonded to it kept the imprint. The rest, unbonded, were synced to the new version without resistance. This explains why only some people experience Mandela effects, while others don't. It's not about intelligence or gullibility. It's about emotional resonance, energetic alignment, timeline fidelity. In simple terms, it's about how anchored you were to the event before the shift occurred. This also explains why many Mandela effects center around childhood. Cartoon logos, cereal brands, movies, commercials. These are the things we absorbed during formative years, before the critical mind fully developed, when the subconscious was wide open. They became part of our internal architecture. Not because we studied them, but because we trusted them. And that trust is hard to delete. So when Looney Tunes becomes Looney Tunes, or Fruit of the Loom loses its cornucopia, or Mandela's funeral vanishes from history, the shock isn't just surprise, it's betrayal. You trusted those moments. You filed them under known. And when that trust is broken, the sense of internal disorientation is hard to describe. Now let's take it even deeper. If we accept that memory is both energetic and collective, then we must ask, can collective memory be manipulated? Enter AI. As artificial intelligence becomes the primary interface through which humanity accesses information, through search engines, digital assistants, voice-to-text, and learning models, we have quietly handed over custodianship of the past. Most people no longer remember phone numbers. They no longer memorize facts. They search. They query. They defer. And this means that whoever controls the digital archive controls the consensus version of memory. If an AI system, trained on petabytes of conflicting data, begins correcting anomalies, removing contradictions, or reconciling mismatched historical records, it may optimize away the very residue that would have confirmed your memory. It may, with no malice and no conspiracy, systematically erase the version of the past that your consciousness still holds as true. And when that happens, memory becomes a liability. You remember Mandela's death, but now there's no proof. You remember Berenstain, but the books say Berenstain. You remember the song lyric, but it's been replaced. This is where memory stops being an archive and becomes an act of defiance. You're no longer just remembering, you're resisting a version of reality that has been engineered to deny your experience. So is the Mandela effect about faulty brains? Or is it about the war between energetic truth and algorithmic reality? Is it possible that you're not misremembering at all, but remembering too well? That you're holding on to something that wasn't supposed to survive the overwrite? If so, then your memories are not mistakes. They're relics. And your persistence is proof that something deeper than data is still alive. Coming up, what happens when archives, platforms, and search systems begin to reshape the past itself? Is it still called history when it can be silently edited? We'll explore that next, as we dive into the weaponization of truth, the digital rewriting of the timeline, and the systems that may already be erasing the reality you thought you lived in. Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas, 11x published author, and what you just watched was only a taste of what's inside the Truth series, where we go all the way down the rabbit hole. If you're the kind of person who's always asking bigger questions, who knows there's more to this world than what we've been told, then this is your invitation to the series that was built for you. Inside the Truth series, you'll get full access to 6 mind-blowing sub-series designed to wake up your highest intelligence and decode the matrix we live in. 1. Locate the truth. Learn how to actually research, not just what to search, but how to verify, cross-reference, read declassified files, and protect your own mind from weaponized misinformation. This is truth-seeking, decoded. 2. The Mandela effect. Are we shifting timelines? Why do so many people remember a different past? We break down the most bizarre, undeniable examples of reality glitches and what they tell us about consciousness and control. 3. Law is magic. Law is not what you think it is. From word spells to maritime law and hidden contracts, we uncover how legal systems use language like a wand and how to stop being tricked by fine print that binds you without consent. 4. Entertainment or ritual. The Hollywood and music industries are not just for entertainment. From Super Bowl rituals to Grammy stage symbolism, we decode what's really being shown, who it serves, and why mass consciousness is the target. 5. Decoding dystopia. Ever wondered why dystopian fiction feels prophetic? In this subseries, we decode popular films and books, Hunger Games, 1984, Black Mirror, to reveal the hidden blueprints and predictive programming behind the plot. 6. MK Ultra plus mind control programs. This one gets deep. From real MK Ultra documents to modern symbolism in media, we expose how mind control operates in plain sight and how to free yourself from manipulation you didn't even know was happening. And that's just the beginning. If this resonated with you, click the links below and join us inside the Full Truth series, because the more you know, the harder you are to control. This is your awakening. We don't just ask questions, we find answers. Let's go all the way down the rabbit hole together.